Look.
Lots of them in there.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, I'm just going to do this one in pink. The heart knows. Connect to the divine within and access the power of your heart. Its wisdom and grace will guide, comfort, uplift, and inspire you to be who you have come here to be. Please stand and face east. East. Air. Air is the most important and mysterious of all the elements. It represents all that cannot be seen, the soul, heart, and spirit world. It can be unpredictable, playful, seductive, and soothing. Slowly breathe in. As you breathe out, trust in the wide open spaces of spirit. The time has come to soar higher and experience vibrant living. Please turn to your right. South, fire. Fire is considered a primary agent of change. Through its heart and heat, fire purifies and transforms. The energy of fire is about self-expression in its alluring and wildly brilliant dance of light. Step into the fire and live. Breathe in slowly. As you breathe out, let go of all limiting beliefs and step into the fiery spark of creation as you live out loud. Please turn to your right. West, water. Water represents the flow of life. It gracefully conforms to any container or environment. It is a powerful example of non-resistance. Be aware of the day-to-day currents and move freely with them. Slowly breathe in. As you breathe out, let go and give yourself completely to the wisdom and flow within. You are awake and in awe. Please turn to your right. North, Earth. Earth energy is nurturing and grounding. A deep bond with the heart of Mother Earth is foundational for spiritual health because it gives each one a sense of purpose, invites us to be open and receptive, and reminds us of our interconnectedness with all life. Slowly breathe in. As you breathe out, take time to let go of the busyness of life and embrace the quiet by connecting with Mother Earth. Please turn and face the screen or the center aisle. Close your eyes. Put your hands over your heart and feel the presence of these elements within, honoring each as an element of spirit. Now open your eyes. Take a moment. As you see with the eyes of God, notice God looking back at you.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
I am practitioner emeritus Denise Borlizzi, and it is my privilege to offer our reading for this morning. It's a piece by Cassie Primos Steele called The Grand Experiment. What if love really were enough? If somehow this were the last grand experiment conducted by the world-renowned scientist herself, Madame Love? What if she gave her own life testing the tiny patterns only she had been trained to see? What if she were in the internet and popped up like an ad to get your data, but instead she stole your heart and you put down the phone, closed your laptop, and cried? Yes, when that happens, you know your heart has been hacked by the world's greatest girl coder, and the fire you feel when another day is just another day and crap is still real and real messy, and no amount of deep cleaning or Marie Kondoing it will help it make it go away. Love is there too, stoking the fire with you. She makes a great pyre. She says, throw it all in, the hunger, the fear, the anger, the injustice, the compassion, the grief, the need to do something, do anything, now that your compulsion to flee the shop has been stolen from you. And the bonfire is great, and the flames can be seen from outer space, but even more importantly, they can be seen right here, and here, and here. Take a nice deep breath in. The affirmation today is I open my heart and my mind in the question, what if? You can repeat it with me. Today, I open my heart and my mind to the question, what if?
Good morning, I'm Joseph Selleck, and this morning it's a pleasure to be introducing Annie Goodwin. She's been singing with the Everyday Center for, again, at least a handful of digits, maybe years, at least 5 years, maybe 6, maybe 7, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yes. Anyway, she's a wonderful singer and has a great, open, joyful heart, and we're going to share 2 of her original songs this morning. Please join me. Oh, and let me say one more thing. Annie's very excited about an upcoming trip in June where she gets to go visit her granddaughter in California.
No, my grandson, my new grandson.
Grandson.
Oh,
Yes.
So I'm very excited. All right. I hear a voice calling me, a voice calling me. I feel a touch so carefree, a touch so carefree. See that the table is set, the table of love, inhaling the fragrance of love. Taste it all, it's so sweet.
Now let us be.
Sip the nectar,
Now let us be.
savor each bite.
Now let us be.
Divinely delicious.
Now let us be.
No limit here.
Now let us be.
Drinking it in.
Now let us be.
Filling our hearts.
Now let us be.
Divinely alive.
Now let us be.
Joy unending.
Now let us be.
Joy unending. No more searching for crumbs, scattered and so small. Now we take a seat at the feast, feast of love. Love dwells in our heart, in our own special heart. When we discover it there, it is everywhere.
Now us be.
No limiting.
Now let us be.
Drinking it in.
Now let us be.
Filling our
Now
hearts.
let us be.
Divinely alive.
Now let us be.
Joy unending.
Now let us be.
Joy unending.
Now let us be.
Joy unending.
Good morning, every day.
Good morning.
We make it so easy to feel filled with love. All of us contribute to each other's fullness and that joy unending that Annie sang of. That thing she just did. Today's an interesting day. Oh, and I'm Reverend Ann Ray. And it's even an interesting day for me. It's an especially interesting day for me. Not because I'm unique as a mother, whether it's of two-leggeds or four-leggeds. It's an interesting day because I began this morning when I was thinking about it being Mother's Day, and I was thinking about our ancestors. And the ancestors before them, 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 and the ancestors before them. You get the idea. Oh yeah, besides being Reverend Ann Ray, I get to be the senior minister of this extraordinary Center for Spiritual Living called Every Day. Where we talk about things like ancestors. And we look at life from as big a vista as we can allow. We look at all of those who have gone before, who have contributed to the life that we're living today. And when we're not so preoccupied with the contributions we don't like, there are a lot of contributions that we can't imagine living without. And so today is about them. Not all of us had mothers who, let's say, totally knew all that was going to happen when they signed up for the job. You know? And yet they signed up for the job anyway. And my version of that story is they signed up for the job anyway because we were insistent, each one of us in this room were insistent on being here. And on being here now.
Yep.
And so they said, well, Okay. Let's do this. And some of us had grandparents who weren't so clear about the job either. And some of us had grandparents who were lifesavers. And great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents. And I get tired with the greats already, so you get the idea. Whether or not it was known by any one individual what they were signing up for when they signed up to be a parent. And today we're talking specifically about moms. We were very influential in that decision. You know, we think that, some of us think anyway, that we're here by chance. You know, our parents did what they did, and here we are. It's not by chance. None of it is by chance. And some of the circumstances that some of us came into were not the circumstances we think now we would have chosen. Because, are you kidding me? Why would we choose those circumstances? And yet, there was an agreement made before we took form that these two people would be our vehicle. Now, it could be argued that we had no idea why in the world we chose those two people. Or it could be argued, of course I chose those two people. Either way, it doesn't matter. All of it. Not just starting with us before inception or conception, not just starting there, but going all the way back to ancient prehistorical times. We were always part of the picture. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And there are cultures that actually know this and have always known it. The Native Americans celebrate ancestry without limits because they are aware, and I'm not just lumping everybody together. I happen to know this is true about Navajo. I don't know it about every single tribe, but I will tell you that they have a consciousness of ancestry that we don't tend to have. Now, anyone that happened to look to see what my talk title was today, just because you were curious, because it's always worth checking out, you
never know what I'm gonna talk about. And even if you know my talk title, you never know what I'm
That's
gonna
true.
talk
Talk
about.
about, yes.
My talk title today is Abundant Results. So close your eyes with me for a minute, if you feel comfortable doing so. And look back as far as you can see at mother, at grandmother, at great-grandmother, and get to the point where you can't actually see anymore. You can't see the figure anymore, but you can imagine. You can imagine. There was a time everywhere in the occupied world that was matriarchal. I'm not saying there weren't any men. What I'm saying is the men who occupied that time with those women had a different motivation than many men do now. Nobody here, of course. They had a different understanding of their own feminine values and how to be a strong and purposeful and contributing man in their culture and in their society was to honor the feminine. To honor the feminine in ways that some of us have only read about in novels. But nonetheless, it happened. It happened where there was balance in these cultures, and there was deep regard, and no one was imbued with some kind of rulership over anybody else. So what's that got to do with abundant results? What's any of this got to do with abundant results? Well, we are the abundant result.
Yeah.
Every single one of us is an abundant result. Because if we just think for a moment about some of the times and experiences, even if we don't know the details, or if we do, that our families and our ancestors have lived through and survived, isn't it amazing that that was all for us? That was all for us. And so we are the abundant result. We, as I've said many times, particularly lately, it is no accident that we are all alive right now.
That's right.
Denise and I saw Hamilton yesterday. And there is a line in Hamilton, in one of the songs in Hamilton, that is how lucky we are to be alive right now.
Yep.
And yet, none of us here, but we know people who look at their life right now and go, why would I feel lucky? Why why would I even think that I was fortunate to be alive right now? Look at all the, as Denise said, because I can quote her, crap that's going on. Since it was Denise, I can quote her. How lucky we are to be alive right now.
Amen.
How blessed we are to be able to choose to consider this philosophy, this science of mind philosophy, in all of its richness and in all of its supportive, incredibly creative construction. You know, Ernest Holmes did not have just the immediate in mind.
Right.
When he and his brother Fenwick, you know, they were 2 of 11. You should see the family photo. They're all lined up like stair steps. But he and his brother Fenwick had this idea, this thought, this urge, this desire that kept welling up in them. And they were teenagers. And it was a very difficult time in this country.
Yeah.
And they pursued it. They studied, they wrote, they founded what in those days were called sanatoriums. And in 1926, Ernest Holmes wrote the first Science of Mind text. He was born to do that.
Right.
He was born to carry the wisdom of the ages forward in this context so that it would be available to those who sought.
Mm-hmm.
Not available to those who needed help, because he had no judgment about that. But those who wanted to know, those who believed that there was something greater than they were, that could assist them in some way, help them feel stronger, help them feel more clear, help them feel more grounded, help them feel more a part of the world in the way they wanted to, it was for them. No matter what else they believed. Because science of mind has never been about choosing science of mind over another faith or another faith tradition. Did you know that?
Yes.
Did you know that it's possible, and I'm not going to name any names because I don't know what names I would name, but it's possible and has always been possible. It's one of the tenets of the science of mind teaching, is that you don't have to give up something to study the science of mind. If you're Jewish, you're still Jewish. If you're Catholic, you're still Catholic. If you're Protestant, you're still Protestant. If you're Lutheran, you're still Lutheran. If you're Sikh, you're still Sikh, as long as that is your choice. No one has to give up anything to study the science of mind,
That's right.
to improve their life by studying the science of mind, to realize by studying the science of mind that you can change your entire life by changing your mind,
Amen.
and for the better.
That's right.
It's not an either or situation. And that is pretty novel, because there's lots of rules in other places, or so I've heard, about having to do things this way and having to commit to this, whatever. And boy, could I get into that today so deeply in the muck that I can't even tell you. In my opinion, religion has never had a dirtier name. And it makes me sad, because religion is supposed to be helpful and uplifting, and part of the abundance that we experience. We choose whatever faith tradition we are a part of, assuming that we are a part of something other than this. And this is not a religion. This is a philosophy. This is not a religion. This is a philosophy. And there is an enormous difference. And if you could give religion a bad name, people are finding a way to do it.
Yes, indeed.
So what's that got to do with abundance? What that has to do with abundance is that we are living in these times where those things are happening and we know better. And the reason that it's important that we know better is because we can look at it, we can listen about it, we can read about it, or whatever other way we decide to indulge ourselves in those activities, which I just might say are not helpful. You know, I hear people thinking, not this morning, but I have heard people thinking, but that's how I stay in touch. Watching the news all day, or the olds, as I like to call them, or the opinions all day, is how I stay in touch. It's how I stay informed. That is crap. Because that is not how you stay informed. You stay informed by living your life the best you can.
Right.
You stay informed by dressing up, showing up, and being the best vision and version of yourself that you can.
Amen.
That is an abundant result. And all of the ancestors that preceded us invested in that, whether they knew it or not. They invested in this now moment, where each one of us has the capacity to make real change. Change in ourselves. Change in the life around us. Real change. Oh, but we can never fix all of that. Right. Nor are we being asked to.
Right.
We are not being asked to. We are asked to be making the change right here. Right here. and to recognize who we truly are and the capacities that we have to be real and authentic with the people that we encounter moment by moment.
Amen.
You know, we've heard lots of quotes about it only takes one. It only takes one conscious, clear, loving, kind individual to make a difference. Well, how about it? Are you willing to be that one?
Yes.
Because all of us together, for those who are here, those who are online, hi Facebook, those who are with us in consciousness because they're at the Church of Golf, those who are part of every day, all of us together, that's a real force of nature.
Yeah.
And we can look at the mess and we can say, oh, but we're so helpless. That's more crap. We are not helpless. Say it with me. We are not helpless. We are helpful. We are loving and kind. We look at each other and we look at the people we encounter. And, you know, I have to tell you, one of the first things on my mind is how can I help?
Mhm.
I was walking into the post office, whatever day it was, and I had 3 too many packages than I could actually carry. And this young man was sitting on I was at the main post office, you know, on Federal, and this young man was sitting on the ledge. He was waiting for his companion to finish up what she was taking care of, and he was just enjoying the sunshine. And I'm kind of staggering along, and he jumps up and he says, "Can I help you?" And I said, now, mind you, there would have been a time when I would have said no. There would have been a time when I would have said no because I was so full of my own self that I would have said no. That was a long time ago. And I mean, right then, he looked like an angel from heaven. A very tall, young angel from heaven. And I said, oh my gosh, could you really? And he came rushing over and he took a bunch of packages out of my hands and he opened the doors and he made my getting into the post office all happen with ease. And of course I'm thanking him and thanking him and thanking him and thanking him and thanking him. And he said, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And I say that to people all the time. But to have it said to me, to receive it, was very different. And he had a little bit of an accent. And I said, are you visiting from somewhere? Oh, well, I never got the where. But he said, yes, my wife and I are here for a couple of weeks, and we always love coming to Santa Fe. And I said, well, you have made my day so much easier. Those little things are what changed the world.
Yeah.
Those little things, those generosities, those kindnesses, those sweetnesses, a smile, a little compliment. When the woman who was helping me with all these packages, that weren't yet addressed, by the way, and the post office was very busy, and I knew that I was asking for a huge favor to get help with all of this. She never even blinked an eye. She said, you just take your time. There's a nice workspace right there. You just take your time and take care of your packages, and then you come right back to me and you don't have to stand in line. I said, really? She said, no, just come right back to me. Oh my God. I felt like I'd been given manna from heaven. We are the abundant result of all that has preceded us, of all of the dedication, of all of the sacrifice, of all of the joy, of all of the love, of all of the celebration, of all of the generosity. We are the abundant result. May we share it. May we share it with unbridled enthusiasm. It's our responsibility to do so, because part of the deal is playing it forward. And so it is.
So it is. You know how it's always so wonderful because the songs always just naturally come perfectly. So I want to read the words that we're gonna have you join us here a little bit, but it's live in love, rise above, live in peace, deep release. Then I know myself as the love, as the peace. It's love. Deep release, live
the peace.